Hi everyone, it's Tricia Giazzon back with another Dress It Up video. Today we're going to be making a fun planner charm, or you could use this actually on your purse or any other bag that you like to carry or anything like that. But I am a planner babe. I like to use a paper planner. It just sings to my soul. So this is actually an example of one I made for myself. Has a little unicorn ribbon, you know, real girly, that's me. But it has a little unicorn button on it and some real cute beads. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing today, but an elevated version of it. So it's a little more mature looking. So today I'm going to show you here, let's see what we're going to be using, and then we will get started. First off, we're going to be using the Light Academia Mix from Jesse James Beads. And we're going to be using, of course, some beautiful buttons from Dress It Up Buttons. This one is called Timeless Treasures. Some headpins. It doesn't matter what length they are. Headpins are actually, you can get these at the craft store in the jewelry section, and they're the ones that have the flat end on them. A 2-inch piece of chain. This can be off of anything that, you know, an old piece of jewelry or whatever. I'm actually going to be using some tags to glue on the back of my buttons, but you could also wrap wire around the back of the buttons and use them that way to hook in. But I'm going to go the easy route today. So these are just little called bails. They're just like a miniature bail. And what that means is you can glue it on to any item and it'll give you an automatic loop. It makes life a lot easier. These also you can get at any bail at any craft store. A couple ribbon crimps. These are for the ends of the ribbon, of course. You're going to want a hook. So we're going to put this on the end like I did with this. So just so what you choose goes around the item that you want to put it on. So the type of planner that I use is a disc bound, and this is just one of the discs that I had laying around. So I made sure that whatever hook I am using goes through the discs. But if you have just a simple planner with the metal rings, you know, go from there. Or if you want to do it as a purse charm, just any kind of little clasp on the end or hook will work. And I also have some ribbon here. This is 5/8 inch. It's just in a blush pink. And then some glue. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let's get started. Okay, guys. So to get started, what I did is I pulled out the buttons that I wanted to use and I glued on the bails to them. And I had to cut off the shank first, so just for less bulk. So how you cut off a shank is just get a heavy-duty pair of scissors or a plier and just push it against the back so it's nice and flush, and then squeeze. I always put my finger over anything like that so it doesn't fly or get in someone's eye. So that's the basic on cutting off a shank. Now to apply the bail to your item, you're going to want to take a little bit of super glue and make sure that's the top that you want to be using. And you can see I rolled my bead mat back because I don't want to get any glue on it, and I'm famous for that. So if I can get some glue to come out, we'll be in business. There we go. Just a little bit of glue, and then just grab it. Usually I just grab it with my pliers and try to apply it that way, because that way I get less glue on my finger. I just laid that down. I pushed it down with my plier just to get a nice good hold. But here's one that I've already glued it onto, and you can see when you turn it around, all you see is that loop, which makes it really nice. But there's a lot of ways that you could attach these. Say if you don't have the bails, you could just use, if you have loop head pins on buttons that have the openings on, you could just put a loop through there. You could take some wire and wind it around the button shank and just make a little piece that sticks up with your wire and then make a loop. And that would work just as well. So I don't want you to think that you can't make this if you don't have bails. There's always ways. Once I let these dry, we're going to be back and we're going to get started. The next step is that we're going to cut a 2-inch piece of ribbon, approximately 2 inches, or however long you would like it. 2 inches seems to work well for the planner that I use. It just gives it a little bit of stretch. When you hook it in, it gives you that little bit of area. Hang down your planner charm. So once we do that, we've got about 2 inches cut. And I'm going to take my ribbon crimps, that's what these are for, and I'm just going to put them in my pliers, just like so. Okay, and these are a little wider than my ribbon, but that's okay. In this case, it's not like we're going to be wearing this, so it'll be just fine. So I'm just putting that over the ribbon end and just giving it a squeeze, okay? Once you get that initial squeeze, then you're going to want to go to each side. Squeeze, don't squeeze too hard or you'll get indents. And I'm just using a regular old pair of pliers here. These are snub nose, but they're basically in essence chain nose pliers, but they're shorter. But it doesn't matter. You can just use whatever you have just to give that a squeeze. And I'm just working back and forth, guys. Just make sure you work back and forth, because if you squeeze it real hard all at one time, it's not going to look nice. So there's our top one. And then I'm just going to take the another ribbon crimp and put it on the bottom side. Same technique. Put it in the jaws of your plier. Put in your ribbon. And just give a squeeze. Okay. As I'm squeezing this side, I'm holding it because it's not yet totally attached. So I want to make sure that I get both sides attached before I let go of the actual ribbon. You can see I have my thumb on it right there. As I work back and forth, now it's okay. I can work back and forth now. I know that it's hooked in there pretty well. Okay, and I'm just going to turn it this way and squeeze it a little bit more on that side. There's our little extension that we need. So that is ready to go. The next thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take the light academia mix, which is completely gorgeous. Use these as the accent beads on our piece. As I said, we have our little buttons up here. I'll lay them right here so you can see them a little better. They're still drying just slightly. It doesn't take long with the super glue, but you still want to give it enough time to cure. And all we're going to simply do, guys, is we're going to use the one-step looper. This is the simplest way to make loops if you have to make things like cha-cha necklaces, planner charms, purse charms, multiple amounts of bead dangles. But also you can use a round nose plier, and once you put the bead on like so, okay, I'm just going to bend this sideways where I want it. Take my chain nose and just slightly above that, just bend it horizontally, and we'll just do a simple loop this time, so because that's the easiest one to learn. So I'm going to put my finger out there. I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch or so, and I'm holding this toward the mat so the wire doesn't fly. Okay, you see how that worked? So I'm going to take my round nose pliers here, and I'm just going to roll it back, just like so. And that's all there is to it. If you have this kind of plier, chain nose or a round nose, you can do that. So this is a double plier, so it has the chain nose and the round nose on it. It's a great product, especially for beginners. So there we go. We have one done. So we're just going to build some bead dangles here, and I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, decide as I'm going through here, okay, what all do I want together? I'm going to put this on here, I think, like so. And then I'm just going to slide it into my one-step looper and give it a squeeze. And this is the lazy man's way about doing it, but it does work well. So either way, though, either way you do it will be just fine. And I think I'm going to pick up a piece of this really cool lava stone. And I'm going to use that. Now I'm just going to put it through my one-step looper, and I'm going to give it a squeeze. Same way. Look at this one, guys. We have to use this. Oh my gosh. Is that a glorious bead or what? Slide that one on. Take this gorgeous crystal. We are going to put it through the looper, give it a squeeze, and there you go. So here's our little dangles that we made so far. I'm going to do the rest of them, and I'll be right back to show you how to assemble everything. Okay, so I made a few more dangles, but I think that's going to be more than enough for us. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's going to be more than enough. So we have that, we have our buttons and our little piece of ribbon. We're done with our head pins. Now we're just going to grab some jump rings. These are 5mm jump rings, but whatever size you have will work. First of all, I'm going to attach my chain to my piece of ribbon. So what I did here is I opened my jump ring, and we've discussed this before in videos, but let's go over it again. Basically, when you do a jump ring, you're going to need 2 pliers, and you're going to open front to back. You're never going to pull out sideways, because if you do, it will misshape your jump ring and you won't be able to use it. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to grab onto my chain and then put my jump ring onto the ribbon crimp. Okay, like so. And then we're ready to attach. We're going to need 1 jump ring to attach our hook. I'm going to use this light pink one, and we'll put that on later. But for now, we're just going to attach our dangles. Now, these that we made with the loops at the top, we can hook right onto the chain. You don't need jump rings for that. You just need to open it the way you would a jump ring, front to back. And if you're not sure what a jump ring is, guys, it's just a ring, a metal ring made of wire, basically, with a crack in the middle, so you can open and close them. Makes it really nice to be able to put pieces, say for instance our buttons, we can hook a jump ring on and then put it onto our piece of chain. Okay, so I'm just going to I'm going to make sure this is the length I want it. Let's see, yeah, it's about 2 inches, that'll work. So I'm going to start, I want my planner to charm to be heavier at the bottom, and it always seems like it works better if you plan from the heavier up to the lighter. Just looks better to the eye, and it just works better in general. I think it's much more eye appealing. So first off, I got to figure out what button do I want as my main button at the bottom. So I'm thinking, I'm just auditioning buttons now, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to have these 3 bigger ones down here toward the bottom. So, and I think I'm going to use my cameo on the end, because it looks real nice when you can attach, and I'm just putting my jump ring through that loop there, when you can attach like a focal on the bottom of your chain, and I'm just hooking that through the chain, and then again we're going to go front to back until those ends line up and are close together. Okay, so this is our focal. Okay, and then we can start building from there. So if I want to put a bead here before I put on another button, and you can build this however you want, guys. So say I want to kind of set up how I want to make it. So I'm going to put these beads on here and kind of lay it how I'm going to have it. You don't have to use all that you know, all of these buttons and beads that I've made, but I wanted to have a variety. So then as I was building it, I could pick, you know, the buttons and the beads that I wanted to use. Yeah. So I think we're going to get, again, like I said, we're going to work our way up from bigger beads to smaller beads. I think we'll put these guys on the bottom-ish area. So I'm going to clear this out, and then like I said, we're just going to open up our ring on the end of our head pin. You need to hold your head pin with your bead on and then hook it through the chain like so, and then we're just going to close it, and I can see, there we go. So there's one on, one of our beautiful beads. Okay, what I really like to do is if I put a bead on one side, I like to put something approximately at the same height on the other side. That is about the size of the opposite. So what I usually do is I just pick up my chain, and I might not go into the same loop, maybe just the loop above, and I just opened up my loop, okay, and I'm going to feed on my chain, feed it onto my chain, and then close it. And then we have a little bit of balance because we have a charm in the middle of our buttons. There we go. And then our larger beads. Now I'm going to put on my shoe, and I'm going to grab my little Victorian boot there, and I'm going to grab one of my jump rings and open it front to back. Oops. And then I'm going to grab my button, hook the jump ring through the loop, okay, and then go up a little higher and put it through the chain, and then close the jump ring, okay. So we're getting there, slow but sure. So we have, you know, our focal, then we're adding the little boot. Let's see, do we want to put this guy like right in there maybe? Yeah. So as I'm building it, I just lay my items and audition them and see, what do I like? Where do I want that? Put on the beads to fill in between the bigger items. Okay. Whoops. So let's attach our other large button as we're building here. Put that up. I'm putting that up about 2 links from where I put the last button on. Okay. And there's our larger items. Turn this so it's facing forward. And you can see how they move around from side to side. Even though I hooked it on that side, it's going to the, that's the beauty of it. It gives you a lot of flow. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to fill in with some beads. And I'm going to open that up, which actually it looks like it's already open. And I'm just going to fill in around these buttons with some of these bead dangles. I definitely know I want to put these beauties on. Let's put, I'm going to put him or her, whatever you prefer, over here underneath where the boot is onto the chain, okay? All right, and we're just going to build it like so. And I'm just going to continue to add our beads and our buttons, and I'll be right back to show you how to attach the hook on the top. Okay guys, so here is what I came up with. I put the buttons and the beads onto the chain. Now, this is full, this is a big one. If you want to use less buttons or less beads to make a smaller item, absolutely fine. Make it to your taste, but I just thought this was really pretty with all these beautiful colors in it. Now, also guys, on the back of the buttons, if you want to cut out a round of felt and put on the back of it to cover up the shank, if that bothers you, it doesn't bother me. I think it'll be just fine, but that's an option if you want the back to be covered. So to put the hook on, all it takes is as simple as a jump ring or two. So I'm going to open up our jump rings like so, one of our 5mm, and then we're going to put on another one. If this one does not fit, the 5mm around your hook, you can certainly use whatever size you like. Mine fits through. I'm sorry about that. So I just put the jump ring through the hook and then through the other jump ring, and we're going to close it. Okay. Like so. Okay. So that is it, guys. There is our beautiful planner charm. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun making it, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.